Hello and welcome to another episode of 65 Wide. My name is Spencer Strikert and I am your host of this CFL podcast. I'm super excited to say that our guest that's going to be coming on is a punter who recently got drafted to the Toronto Argonauts in the 7th round. He was the 57th pick overall, and I've talked about it a lot. He had my favorite play of the preseason. That is, of course, from Bowmanville, Ontario, Nathan Walker. We're going to get to that in just a minute, but first, let's talk about what's happened in the league this week. First and foremost, the most important update, thanks to Carrick Wheatfall, we now have a laugh track on the podcast. After a 37-27 win over his old team, the Bombers, Carrick had this to say in the post-game interview.
I got one more thing. Come on down to Hamilton, man.
After racking up 102 yards on only 3 receptions against his former team, he gets to laugh after not dropping the ball this week. Hamilton's Big Bobo threw 3 tutties on 287 yards, 150 yards less than Zach Caleros, whose offense couldn't capitalize on red zone attacks. You know, my favorite part about Winnipeg losing is knowing that somewhere out there the Kelsey brothers are a little bit sadder today. In the Eastern rivalry game between the Argos and the Alouettes, it was another outstanding one that brought Davis Alexander's regular season starting streak to 13 games. He threw for 4 yards less than Chad Kelly, and both were almost hitting 450 yards in the game. We see this insane flea flicker touchdown in the first quarter from Davis Alexander, but for his first game back in 580 days, Chad Kelly needs to be getting more credit for putting up the numbers that were on par with Davis Alexander. Highlight, though, was Tyson Philpott's 193 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns on 9 receptions, and back-to-back weeks with highlight reel catches. After Argos DB Deshaun Amos got between Philpott and Alexander, causing the ball to bounce 3 times off his helmet and back before Tyson brought it in. To break it down in the most simple terms, the most impressive play of the game was when Tyson took a back shot from Deshaun. See? I knew that laugh track would come in handy. Finally, Nathan Rourke's Lions headed to Saskatchewan to get taken down by the Riders 31-24. Days before, it was revealed that Nathan's "It's Our Time" quote was engraved on the Riders' Grey Cup rings, and for someone who draws a striking resemblance to Jack Doherty, Nathan seemed to take it with stride, laughing and saying to 3 Down Nation, that's really stuck with them, eh? What also stuck with them was Samuel Emilou's 3 touchdowns on 6 receptions. Literally half the time that he touched the football, it led to a touchdown. But we can't discredit Nathan's impressive dogfight run into the end zone to put up 6 points for the Lions after a reverse tug-of-war that saw basically every player on the field getting involved. That's going to wrap up our league updates. We're going to be back with our interview with Nathan Walker in just a second, but first, here's a word from our sponsors. Hello, this is Hank Hill from Strickland Propane, located at 135 Los Gatos Road, Arlen, Texas. You might be wondering why we are talking to you on this podcast right now. Well, the annual Grills Stravaganza sale featuring Wagner Char King Grills is coming to you this upcoming weekend. If you're in the Arlen, Texas region, be sure to stop by Strickland Propane. Remember, if you're gonna grill, you want to grill with propane. It's a clean burning fuel, and it allows you to taste the meat, not the heat. Once again, it's Grill Stravaganza. Not sure why exactly we're advertising on a Canadian football podcast. Canadian football? What are they gonna think about next? If you'd like to advertise on 65 Wide, send us an email, 65widepodcast@gmail.com. We'll work out rates for you. You can sponsor 1 episode, a couple of episodes, or hell, the entire season if you want. We'll figure it out. Shoot us that email. We'll get it sorted. You've read the title, you know what this is about. Our guest today is a punter from Bowmanville, Ontario. He played at York University, where last year he punted for over 2,100 yards, 2,190 yards to be specific, on 48 attempts. In the 2026 CFL draft, he was picked up by the Toronto Argonauts in the 7th round with the 57th overall pick, where he played in both preseason bouts against the Hamilton Ticats, punting for 415 yards on 11 attempts before recently entering CFL free free agency. Please welcome to the show, Nathan Walker. Nathan, how are you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
Man, I had to have you on. I was so stoked when I saw it was the second game of the preseason. There is one play, I've said it on the podcast before. It is the play of the preseason. You punt the ball up, it bounces, and then it looked like you headbutted the ball out of bounds, getting it back to Toronto's possession. First off, you played that entire game so aggressively. But how did you feel like in that moment? Can you kind of walk us through what the hell was going through your mind in that play?
Yeah, no, that game was probably by far the windiest game I've ever played in. Played at Guelph many times, and I knew that field was decent chances gonna be a pretty windy day, but I think they said it was around 65-kilometer winds. Pre-game warming up, when we were kicking against the wind or punting against the wind, I'm like, okay, you hit the ball perfectly, it's gonna go about 30 yards. So I'm like, I knew before the game started, there was a decent chance that if one bounced back, I could probably go out there and get it. So on this particular punt the ball, felt great off the foot, and I kind of peek my head up, look at it, spirals up, and then just comes straight down. It's like it hit a wall. It was unreal. Kind of takes a bounce towards the sideline, and I just see kind of like an opening where like there was nobody, just like a lane, and I just get on my horse. The ball kind of took a perfect bounce. It bounced like right at the sideline and popped up to about like my hip level, kind of weaved past one guy, and then just dolphin dived for the ball and just I knew I just had to get a touch on it. It's a Canadian rule, right? Like you don't see that in the NFL where you got to get possession of the ball as a punter. In Canada, you just have to tap it out. So I knew I just had to get my hands on it, and I had to keep my feet in, and it kind of just popped up right to about my hip level. It was perfect. And I just, went for it and kept my feet in and just got a little tap on it. And that was it.
That is so wild. Well, it was so fun to watch on the stream because even the commentators started losing it at that point. Like everyone was like, "Whoa, okay, we weren't expecting that." Had you ever done that off a punt in your university days?
I had one punt versus U of T. I want to say it was 2024, the Red Blue Bowl. This one so we were pretty backed up. I punted the ball over the returner's head. It kind of trickles into the end zone, and the returner's just trying to bait guys into jumping into the 5-yard halo. And so he's just sitting in the touchdown, like in the end zone, and I kind of pick up on this. I wish I would have picked up on it a couple seconds earlier because I'm kind of like doing that punter jog down the field after you punt the ball, and then I'm like, oh crap, I can recover this because he's just standing there over the ball, just kind of like trying to bait guys into jumping. And I was so close to jumping on the ball in the end zone and scoring a touchdown off that. So that day's haunted me. I'm like, I needed to get that one back.
I gotta ask this because I ask everybody that's on special teams this question. What led you to becoming a punter? Because I feel like most of the time when people are playing football, they're like, oh, I want to be a receiver. I want to be a middle linebacker. I want to be a quarterback. What kind of made you take that step towards special teams?
Yeah, I think so. I played soccer for, I want to say 12 years, from when I was 4 until about end of grade 8. Took a bit of a break from sports. COVID ended up hitting in like grade 9 and grade 10, like what was that, like 2020, I think it was. And I just started picking up kicking for fun at my field. I was just like, you know what? I played a little, like a half a year of football after quitting soccer and did a little bit of kicking there. So I had this little plastic orange tee that I could kick off of. And I was just bored one day during, you know how COVID was, right? You couldn't do anything. You're just kind of stuck in the house. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's go out and let's just kick some field goals and see how this goes. I haven't done it in, years. So I ended up going out. I hit like a 50-yarder. Like I was not consistent at all, but I ended up having a great day out there. I had fun doing it, and I just kind of fell in love with kicking. So then I started working with Lirim, the Argos kicker. He runs a program called Coach Kick. Started training with him, got an opportunity at York to play, and sort of been there ever since. I think I was never originally a punter. Like, you know how the Canadian game is. It's like you have to be able to kick and punt. You got to be a combo guy in Canada. It's not like the States where you kind of pick one or the other. So I was way more of a kicker, did not know how to punt at all. I just learned how to punt in 2022, really. And then kind of through my university experience, I've just got better and better at punting. And with my stature, like I'm a bigger guy, I'm a taller guy, just have more of a punter build. I think I've just had more natural successes with punting, which has kind of just led me to now, like when I was with the Argos, was primarily more in a punting role. That's sort of why I became a punter. I love it, man. The satisfaction when you just hit a nice ball and it's spiraling up, and yeah, it's It's amazing. I love it.
Well, and I feel like punting is such it's an interesting skill because there's so many people that overlook special teams, and I'm a big special teams champion. I feel like special teams are a lot of times, especially in the Canadian game, what wins games. You know,
Yeah.
you see it with field goals, you see it with extra points, everything. But what would be your advice for young kids that are getting into football or just anybody really that's trying to get into football and trying to make an impact on special teams?
The special teams where you make was where you make your money. I've got buddies. I've had a lot of my friends from York get drafted to the league or get picked up, and they're where you make your money. If you ask anybody, is on special teams. If you can go out there on a punt team, kick off, KOR, and set the tone and do your job well, like you're gonna have a super long career just strictly doing that. Forget, playing, linebacker, receiver, whatever. If you can go out on special teams and do your job well, like you're gonna be there for a long time. So my advice for the young kids playing football is take special teams seriously, whether kicker, punter, obviously, or if they have you in a gunner role, they have you, playing guard or tackle on punt, like everything that is so important. And being good on special teams is how you can make it to the next level and prolong that career for a very long time.
Well, and I think that special teams too, it makes you learn so much quicker because everything is happening so fast,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like you're not, it's go time. And the way that I always compare it is like I grew up rodeoing. It's like when you nod your head and that chute opens, it's gonna get crazy. Well, as soon as the
Yep.
ball is kicked, shit's getting crazy. So you better
Yep.
lock in. I want to talk about this because you got picked in the seventh round by the Argos, which
Yep.
congratulations, first of all, because that's insane.
Appreciate it.
What is next for you now that you've entered free agency? Are you returning to school for a year because like we have that eligibility rule in Canada,
Yep.
or are you just focusing on what's next?
That's the great thing about Canada is having that fifth year, right? Like, so for example, it's perfect for me. Like, I'm only 21. So I ended up playing at York my first year, rookie year when I was 17, turning 18. So I'm still pretty young for being just finishing up my fourth year here at York. That's the beautiful thing about Canada, I think, with the States is like, once you're done your eligibility, it's like, you got to make it pro. Or if you get released, like you gotta kind of just live your normal life and train and try and wait it a whole entire year, right, to go into like the next training camp the next year.
Unless
But
you're
no,
Carson Beck,
yeah,
and then you can just
yeah,
be in
yeah,
school forever, dude.
yeah, and then make $1 million a year with NIL. But
Yeah.
no, but for me, no, I got a couple more classes at York to finish my degree. I'm studying criminology, so I'm going back for my fifth year unless something happens in the next. I think the York season starts in August, so right now I'm considered like a free agent. Any team can pick me up and up until then, up until the York season. Gonna go play out at York, hopefully have another like great season, and then go back. Hopefully go back to the Argos in May, because I think they hold your rights once they draft you. So hopefully be back next May.
You've played at York now for 4 years, going on
Yeah.
5 years. Who did you play university ball? This is kind of a pay it forward moment, but like, who did you play university ball with that you think that we should keep our eyes on that are in the league right now?
Well, one of the guys I played with, he got drafted in the same draft as me, a guy named Brody Clark. So I played football with him at York for 2 years, and he's probably one of the most athletic football players I've ever played with. Like, so he played, I believe it was middle linebacker. No, he played weak side. I think it was Sam at York, and without him, man, I don't know what we would have done. Like this guy I think he led the country in tackles in 2024. Just a freak athlete. Last year with York, played the first game, ended up hurting his knee, so he was out the season. And even with that, he still gets drafted in the fifth round, I think. So that just shows you how much of a stud this guy is. I think he's on the active roster right now with Winnipeg. Like I said, with special teams, he's in a special teams role, and I think it's the perfect fit for him with how athletic he is and how he's able to go down there and make tackles. I saw he got a couple tackles there in the preseason, a couple tackles here in week 1 and week 2. Like he's doing his thing, man. I keep an eye out for him. He's gonna be in the league for a long time. He's a stud.
That's so cool. Well, we're definitely gonna keep an eye out for him. I want to go back just for a quick second because you talked about earlier about playing soccer growing up, and
Yep.
and I've noticed that that's a lot of kickers and punters. They know how to use their leg and actually like move the ball in that way. At what point did you kind of move? Like, I know you talked about the pandemic and everything, but like,
Mhm.
was there a point where you were like, oh, I want to like after you had started kicking footballs? Was there a point where you were like, oh, I'm absolutely never going back to soccer?
Yeah, I'd say like after I played soccer for so long. Like I said, I think it was like 12 years or something like that, and at a pretty high level near like the for the last 4 or 5 years of my like soccer career. And I think I just slowly started falling out of love with the game as I got older and slowly started getting more interest towards football. Like I'm a big Steelers guy. So I remember watching like Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. And that was that I loved it. Like I was starting to kind of just fall out of love for soccer, and then my football love just started growing and growing and growing. And I was like ended up quitting soccer and then played I think it was like played around a season of just like your rep like Ontario football or whatnot. And yeah, I fell in love with it. Fell in love with football. I played a little bit of in like this like bantam probably. And I was not great at all. I think I played linebacker for a little bit. But where I made my money was kicking.
That's
That's
so
where I kind of
funny.
fell in love with it.
So then, I mean, with the World Cup happening in Canada now, are you heading to any games though, or are you
I
gonna?
wish. I wish. I wish. No, I'm a big England fan, so I'm hoping it's coming home this year. I doubt it, but I got my hopes up again this year. Hopefully it'll go well. It's crazy down there. Like I'm usually in Toronto, like up at York. It's a little bit north of Toronto, where I'm usually from. But I'm back in Bowmanville, and I don't intend going anywhere near Toronto for a bit. It's packed.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Well, Nathan, first off, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to say before we head on out of the interview?
Oh, I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm excited for the future, for myself, for your show, and it's a good time to be in the CFL, man. Things are going well. So
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna keep going. Thank you so much, Nathan.